So what's
Nice.
up?
Oh, I've been waiting for so long for you to ask me that. I want to pull a Blair and just go,
Honestly, like that's kind of the vibe. Like, given the everything of happening around us,
yeah, yeah,
because
I am not.
you obviously know this, but this is the first voice the people are hearing after the 3 month hiatus post Schlocktober that we needed to gather ourselves because there was absolutely no way I would. You know what's funny is that I know I'm sorry I'm talking over you, but you know what's funny is that I said I'm not doing fear baiting for the next 3 weeks because I'm not fucking doing that while the election and dog shit is happening, and then I was like, but what if I started a different podcast?
And I told you you're working really hard. You probably shouldn't start another podcast if you want to relax and take a little bit of a break. And it's a confusing time. And what did you say to me about your new podcast?
I don't. What did I say to you about my new podcast?
You said, hold on, I'm bringing it up. You said it's actually harmful for me not to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen.
It is though. Like, if I don't have a podcast to talk about the anime and the manga of Jujutsu Kaisen, I will just spend the entirety of my days rewatching episodes and being annoying at my friends until they watch the show. Which, like, I'm doing enough of that already. I've seen episode 7 of that show 4 times now, I think.
And you've read the entire series.
Oh yeah, and I've like reread parts of it alongside friends who are rereading it too. Like I was up at like 3:30 a.m. last night because my very good friend, previous guest of the show, Ash, was like reading the most recent 10 chapters, and I was like, okay, I gotta read along with all this shit.
Oh my gosh! I could never handle, I could never handle the pressure of like doing like a book club that somebody else was facilitating, because like I'm such a slow reader that I assume that like if that were ever to happen with me and you, it'd be like you'd be like, oh, so did you finish the chapter yet? And I'm like, no, I'm still reading.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when it comes to like books, like no pictures, just books, like I am dog shit. When it comes to manga, though, I will read 100 chapters in a day. It's if it's good, if it's good, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I think the problem is that like I just get so wrapped up in like my own like brain thoughts when I'm reading. Like I read the that really big collection of Tomei, that the Junji Ito stories.
Ooh, yes.
And that a big tome of Tomei stories, the tome A, it took me like 2 months to read.
Is it Tomi?
Yeah, I thought it was Tomei, but
it's Tomie actually.
Oh,
Tomie.
oh, okay, yeah. Tomie, yeah, like that big collection by Viz, like took me like 2 months to get through.
Yeah, I mean it also like varies from thing to thing. Like I have the hardcover of Uzumaki here that I got for Christmas one year, and I'm still like I'm halfway through it, and it's good, and I love it. It's just like I'll get to that, but like the thing is, the Jujutsu Kaisen exists, I can read that shit all on my phone, and no one can stop me.
Yeah, not even like other things that you have to do, like homework or whatever.
Absolutely not, never.
But yeah,
if my parents are listening to this podcast, I'm being very good in doing all of my homework. Thank you.
Yeah,
I am keeping up on my homework. But.
That's good. And you know what? Like, keeping up with homework is like a fun, easy way to just sort of make yourself feel less bad about your habits.
Yeah,
did I wear pants today? No, but I did finish all of my formulas and all my problems. So
yeah, Did I put on pants today? No. Did I watch Haikyuu third year's AMV 3 times? Yes.
we have to mix work and play, and it's so hard to do that when you're working and playing from home.
Yeah, this is extremely true.
Yeah, podcast.
number one. It's your number one Fuck Thanksgiving podcast. I'm Sarah, and I'm joined by frequent guest of other podcasts I do, Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Not a Threat, Just a Fact. But first time guest of this one, it's John.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to be on Fear Baiting. It's been my lifelong goal to parasite my way into Noisepace.xyz, and my actually Fear Baiting was my first choice, but actually they actually let me on HKIP first. So swings roundabouts, everything ends up in its place, and I'm so glad to finally be on Fear Baiting.
Yeah, you got to get your foot in the door somewhere.
Absolutely.
So John, tell the listening audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, what your background with horror movies are, and if you have like a favorite subgenre of them, whatever that is.
Oh yeah. My name's John. I'm a writer and poet from so-called Canada, fake country. Yep. I'm a new podcaster, but I've loved podcasts a lot, and I guess my real introduction to horror came when I was 12 years old. I was visiting my dad, and my dad decided to put on Pink Floyd's The Wall, and distinctly remember feeling absolutely horrified at the Another Brick in the Wall section where the schoolboys are getting ground into ground beef. Yeah. And that was my introduction to horror. And my brother, who is a year younger than me, was terrified, just absolutely terrified of horror films. But I weirdly grew into it, and I really loved it. And now I would say that I'm a pretty big horror fan. Just love horror movies to death. And I would probably say my favorite, like, a subgenre is a kind of funny word for it, because it's not really like a subgenre. It's not like a formalized thing. But I love home invasion horror. I love home invasion thriller.
Those are good. I like those a lot also.
Even something pretty bad like The Strangers. I remember seeing the trailer for The Strangers in theaters, and there's that bit where I think it's Liv Tyler, yeah?
I actually haven't seen The Strangers. That's one we have to do for this podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Liv Tyler's standing
back for that one.
Hell yeah. There's a part where Liv Tyler's standing in her living room, and the main stranger, the guy with the sack over his face,
right? Like sort of like from Little Big Planet.
yeah. He walks into this into the living room behind her in the shadows, and just like, but the scene is entirely dead silent, and it's just like, that was a movie that came out when I was a teen. So, but like at the time, it was like, that was a movie that I saw where like a scene happened, and it wasn't just an obnoxious jump scare. And I was like, oh, I like this. Yeah, I like this.
It's really the purest expression of you can put a fucked up guy anywhere. There's a fucked up guy in that scene, and he's anywhere.
Yeah, a fucked up guy can even live in your walls and then get jacked.
The thing is that like our that's our thing, but like at the thing about horror movies is that, what if there was a fucked up guy though?
Yeah, like, and that's it, right?
If all the questions are, what if X and there was a fucked up guy? What if you opened your medicine cabinet? What if you opened the mirror on your bathroom wall to get some pills out, and then you closed it and there was a fucked up guy? What if you took a bath and in the tub pulling you under the water was a fucked up guy? What if you had a dream and there was and then you went to fucking Disneyland with all your friends, and then there was a fucked up guy with claws for hands?
Exactly. You could put a fucked up guy anywhere. And you know what? Honestly,
the thing is, the more I say it, the more I'm believing it, that you can really just put a fucked up guy anywhere.
And it's 2020, so you could put a fucked up girl anywhere too.
You know what? We can. You can put a fucked up girl anywhere.
Yeah, I think people pay a lot of respect to Alfred Hitchcock and his theory of the time bomb. Sort of like the theory of suspense, that like there's no suspense in a bomb going off under a dinner table full of guests. you have to actually show the bomb first,
Right.
and then let the audience build up that tension in their head.
Right.
But you can also put a fucked up guy underneath that table.
Yeah, I was
going to
say, let me do you one more, Mr. Hitchcock. What if instead of a bomb, there was a fucked up guy?
And that fucked up guy, Alfred Hitchcock, he was kind of a dick.
He was kind of a dick, wasn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, that's why.
Was he the one who killed? No, I'm thinking of Twilight Zone, not.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of John Landis. Yeah,
John Landis, the guy who murdered an actor and 2 children.
Yeah, not great, not great. Yeah, but and also cursed the world with his offspring as well.
Yeah. You know what? Max Landis peaked at the Death and Return of Superman and really went downhill from there.
Yeah, I as someone who at one point really just like absorbed everything that guy put out, like I was like, oh, he's so smart, he knows so much about writing movies, and like, you know, like he came out with Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, which for a while was like in the zeitgeist for wrestling fans, and so like people would bring it up all the time, like wrestling YouTube channels would talk about it all the time, and wrestlers were involved with it, so like it became a kind of meme, and you know, like, yeah, and so when it came out that like he was actually a huge piece of garbage, you know, then you kind of have to reevaluate your love for it, and it's like, was he smart, or was he just saying things that I agreed with,
right,
or that were a little bit novel that he may have taken from somewhere else?
Yeah, very very similar reaction to me with Nick Robinson.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
But we're getting a little bit off track here.
Yeah.
We are gonna talk about a movie called Blood Quantum today. But I guess before that, I just wanted to say Thanksgiving is a fucking fake ass holiday, and it's National Day of Mourning, right? That's like the word that I've heard for it instead. Just extremely young age, they just drill that, like, the settler colonialism in. Like, there's still, like, the jingle that I have in my head of, you know, Christopher Columbus in 1492 sailed across the Great Big Sea, a very brave thing to do. Like, I learned that at, like, age 6, and it's not left my brain since, even though I know Christopher Columbus is a rapist piece of shit who's rotting in hell.
If you're a new Canadian kid, like you're not from Canada, you're from somewhere else, you come to school in Canada, the first holiday you learn about is about how, you know, wherever you're at, whether it's Canada or the United States, actually we do get along with our Indigenous people, and this is what we do every year. We celebrate giving thanks and blah blah blah, and it's like you tie like a very common social norm, which is like being thankful, and a virtue like being thankful, with historical revisionism. It's like, you know, it's bananas to me that I think that people have allowed it to exist for so long, and why it is still a thing is beyond me, other than the fact that so many people don't learn about the truth about the United States and Canada until they're much older,
right? And also the, you know, the fact that the people who are in charge of that, like, probably are like the people who are not to get into Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die territory, but, like, you know, government really would probably rather you think of their past with Indigenous peoples as hunky-dory than at the absolute horror that it actually was.
Exactly. And I think that really brings us to the title of the film, Blood Quantum.
Yes.
And you asked me what Blood Quantum meant while we were watching it. And Blood Quantum, for me, as somebody who has taken Indigenous studies and has really studied like the law around Indigenous people in Canada and the United States, Blood Quantum laws are pretty fucked up. They're a thing that I'm also like quite familiar with because it's affected people who I know. Blood quantum laws, or Indian blood laws, are basically the criteria that determines who can be classified by the federal government as as an Indian person. So
Right. I'm complete like the oh my god, what the fuck, like skull calipering for your blood.
yeah, very much so. And it's an interrogation of who are your parents and who are their parents and who are their parents, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really fucked up because really the only reason blood quantum laws exist is because the federal government were very keen on making sure that they had that the Indian population was controlled, because
Yeah.
at least in Canada, Indians are actually wards of the state. We are not subjects of any provincial, which is like states in the United States. So any dealings with the Indigenous people has to be with the federal government. And so the federal government wants to very strictly enforce and put on people the idea of like who is Indian and who is not Indian. And so, historically, these laws have been used to rid people of what's called status. Status in the United States and Canada, it operates a little bit differently, but basically it's the idea of you registering yourself as an Indigenous person, as an Indian specifically, with the federal government, and therefore being entitled to, on paper, all of the treaties and laws and regulations that govern Indian people, when in fact historically there have been subversions of this. So in Canada, it was if you were an Indigenous woman and you married a non-Indigenous man, you lost your status, and that was the law of the land until the 80s.
Like,
so,
I know.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you say until the 80s?
Yes. You
Okay.
were. Yeah,
like, I want you to know that, like, have you played Among Us?
No,
Okay,
but
never mind.
I'm familiar.
I only mentioned because there's like a little like hat you can give your character that just looks like eyebrows like 2 feet above the head. Like my eyebrows physically went like above my head when I heard that, and then you said in the 80s.
Yeah. So my mom was born in 1970. So when she was born, her mother and her her grandmother, my great grandmother, had actually had no status because she had married a white man before my mother was born. And so how blood quantum works in Canada now is if you are not registered as an Indian under the Indian Act, even if you are full blood Indian and you marry somebody who's not Indigenous, that your child will only qualify as 1/4 rather than 1/2. Because it requires literally a line of documentation going back generations. And for people who are no longer with us, like a sad amount of Indigenous women who are no longer with us, who lost their status before the 80s. That's a lot of broken lines of lineage and of tradition. And so, Indigenous people often have to account for large swaths of their family so that they're able to keep track of who in their family has had status and who didn't. And this is the 80s, and so we're 40 years away from 1980, and so we haven't even really made it past that point where people are able to get over it and sort of like reestablish those lines.
Right. And
so
like, in addition to the extreme recency of it, and I know this is like a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but like the idea, like I hear that stuff and I think about like in the hypothetical that like I had to keep track of my family's information to that extent, like in the current age with all the digital information I can possibly have at my fingertips, like that sounds like a trial now. And then back 40 odd years ago, oh my god.
Yeah, sometimes even longer, because there was a program of called enfranchisement. It's called enfranchisement, which basically was a program by the government set up basically just after the Indian Act passed in 1876. The Enfranchisement Act basically said, okay, here's exactly what we're going to do. Now that we've created a class of citizens called Indians, we're going to immediately give them an opportunity to completely surrender their treaty rights. And so the idea was you could give up your title as Indian and be given an allotment of land outside of a reservation and be given, like a certain amount of money, and then that's it. They would basically buy you out, essentially. And that was a process that was not very popular because, because often people would sort of recognize, like, hey, I am this, and I want to be recognized under these treaties as this party. And so, they resisted, and then that's when they started implementing and supercharging the residential school system.
Yeah.
Because it was literally not profitable enough for indigenous people to abandon their status as Indians, so they literally just decided to start forcing indigenous people to be assimilated. And that's where residential school systems come from. So blood quantum laws are still in effect. They're still really fucked up. And they not only affect Indians, they affect they affect natives of mixed ancestry who are not white. So black natives, for example, Asian natives. There's a really big conversation in the States right now about this this woman who's being this native woman who's being offered or being considered for the job of Minister of the Interior, and she's a native woman from Oklahoma, but she has this problem where she actually supports the disenfranchisement of black natives in Oklahoma. And so, there's this really fucked up, like, Jim Crow law that's like happening right now in Oklahoma because, unfortunately, this is just a fact of history. Some natives owned slaves, and when they freed those slaves, those men were given because they were partly native, they were given allotments of land, and so the Black Wall Street story of Omaha. Those people that Black Wall Street was not a product of capitalism working out for black people. They were given allotments of land by the state because they were native. And so that's why they were able to build up a really prosperous neighborhood in that city, which then the United States bombed.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's a ton of issues surrounding blood quantum laws, but I think this movie, which we should probably get to at some point, don't let me cut you off, though. I'm like, this is both extremely interesting and like important information to for sure
be talking about. I think so. You
for sure.
You talk yourself you talk about however much you want to talk about. And then we can talk about this fucking cool ass movie with the katana grandpa.
Oh yeah. This movie, Jeff Barnaby, the director, has talked about how this movie deals with colonialism and deals with, like, all of that stuff, and it's a really easy thing for people to grasp when they have sort of like lived in that, like, in that life of like being able to deconstruct colonialism and being able to sort of talk about it in a way and learn about it in a way that allows them to see how it still affects people today. But I really want to stress that, like, there are motifs and images in this movie that are rewards for people who are in that world. But I think it's a really important thing for people who aren't familiar with that world, and especially indigenous history, recent history, to get that in. So I will try and point out those things, and I think make those connections when we go through the film. But yeah, it's a very loaded movie with a lot of references, and but also, it's a movie with very serious messages, but it's also fucking kick ass.
Yeah, like in addition to like the like I could kind of feel that vibe about this movie, that like it is talking about something, important, but also on top of that, this movie just rules.
Oh yeah.
So you want to get into it?
Let's get into it.
So we start on the Red Crow Indian Reservation in 1981, and we meet our first character, who is a fisherman named was it Gisigu? Was that his name?
Gisigu, yeah.
Gisigu. And
which is Mi'kmaq for old man. Yeah, it's the
equivalent of like a Japanese character being named OG.
Yes.
Like an old just
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
But he's just like fishing, and he's like, all right, I got my salmon. I'm gonna gut these things. And I have the thought here of like, no food looks good in preparation. Like when you are going directly from corpse to raw materials, I think that like no food looks good. Like you look at a deer, you look at a cow, anything going from like anytime you have to extricate materials from a corpse, it's not looking good. Fish is the worst to look at, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, even some of the really big fish, because like once it gets to that level of like preparation, everything just looks so alien and out of this world. Like watching even like squids and stuff. Like yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
I guess there's never to hand it to Lovecraft, but I guess there's a reason that he went for fish in Shadow over Innsmouth.
Yeah, certainly.
And
certainly
the reason that Bloodborne went for fish when it did its Shadow over Innsmouth DLC.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's like fish are like, they're the closest that we've come to comprehending the horrors of the depths.
Yeah. Fish are fucked up, but these fish are like extra fucked up because they are regular salmon, but he like cuts all them open and they've got all their tummy guts hanging out, and the fish start like flopping around like they're still just alive and like just fish out of water, and like they don't have their entire stomachs open.
Yeah, it's a very great shot, because like first it's just the one fish who he just gutted starts flapping its tail, and then all of them around his workbench.
Cool. It's really cool.
Also, this movie takes place in 1981.
Yes.
The entire movie, and it's weird.
Until I looked at my notes, I didn't like clock that as being the case. Like they start off by saying, "Hey, this is 1981," but I didn't clock that the entire movie is that, I guess.
Yeah, there is a time jump in the film, but it's only 6 months.
Okay, yeah, God, this movie has a time skip.
Yeah, we'll get to our reaction to the time skip, but So Gisigu cuts open the salmon, and he sees like all the fish go nuts, and then he sort of goes like, well, that's weird, and then we cut to, unfortunately,
his son, the cop.
Sheriff Traylor. That's Trailer with a YLOR, not ILER.
It's Taylor with an R right next to the T.
Oh God, it is.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh. Yeah. So.
I'm sorry, sir. My son is also named Trailer.
Sheriff Traylor. He gets a call from his ex-wife, who's a nurse. Her name's Joss, like the director. Yeah. And she he walks over. He meets another villager. His name is Moon.
Is that the guy played by Gary Farmer?
It is. Yeah. And so he goes over. He meets Moon, and he Trailer unfortunately has to euthanize a dog who is dying, and
Shit's it.
it's pretty sad. And he puts it in his trunk and he goes meets up with his ex-wife,
right?
And they have a son together named Joseph, who has been arrested.
Yep. Hey, our son is doing. Listen, son, honey, Sheriff Trailer. You're my husband. You're my ex-husband. I used to love you. Our son is posting so much cringe. They put him in prison with his fail brother-in-law. And are we doing fail parenting?
Yeah. It's really it's a really kind of hilarious scene where she's like, you have to go pick him up, and they won't release him to anyone but you, and he's just like, yeah, well, I don't know how to deal with this kid, so oh well. And so Trailer Joseph was arrested for vandalism, and he's in jail with his half brother named Lysol.
Yes, his vandalism is so fucking funny though.
Oh my god! So
they call it vandalism, but what it is that we get a flashback to the night before where he hucks like an empty, like, I'm assuming like a whiskey bottle into a river while he's on a bridge. Then he climbs up onto like the framing, the structure of the bridge, and like perches up there and takes a fat shit on someone's car on some old lady's car while she's driving over the bridge.
The aim, the timing, the size, the everything.
And then he lands the shit on her front windshield, and then he falls from the bridge structure onto her back windshield.
After he lands this fucking potato sack of a shit on this woman's car, you know
what it looks like? It looks like the fucking shit that's in the YouTube poop logo.
Yeah, and then after doing one big pile of shit, he then takes a Mick Foley and does a back bump on the back of the woman's car.
One big shit, and she do what I Foley.
So he surviving the back bump of a lifetime. He gets put in jail with his half brother Lysol,
and also some random guy who seems to be unwell, but he just gives us the finger from behind a wall and tells us, I won't talk for another 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. Lysol and Joseph have the same father, and that is Trailer. So yeah, they're hanging out in jail and they're sharing a cigarette, which is something that you really can't do now.
God,
but
I think I expressed this to you yesterday when we were watching it, but like I've maybe smoked like 12 cigarettes in my life. Most of them were from like a drink. Like I had a drinking buddy in college, and whenever he smoked, I would smoke.
Oh yeah, is this the person who was also your makeout buddy?
Get my ass.
Well, no, it's fine. It's just I'm just trying to connect the Sarah lore.
They're also the reason that I always think about clove cigarettes.
Oh yeah. So whenever you listen to 69 Love Songs, you get to that song. Yeah. I was just saying that like I would give so many things to be able to just have like I've been thinking about how much I want to share a doober with people, but like I would give so many things to just share a regular ass non-jazz cigarette. I think what should probably come back is those those like long like pokey sticks,
the cigarette holders that a sexy woman would have at a bar.
Yeah. I know them from the Titanic, but like people should like do that now.
Friend of the pod, previous guest of the pod, Quinn, was talking the other day about how Faye don't do it very often, but sometimes Faye will like just plug a joint into one of those things and just like live as decadently as possible.
Yeah, it's like I don't partake myself, but like that's gotta be a one way to like really move towards legitimizing weed is just sort of do it very well, and make a show of it.
I'm smoking fat doinks out of my Genesis and peep pipe.
And maybe what you could do is like have like one of those. have one of those.
Sorry that my French is terrible. Je ne sais un pipe de tobacco. This is not a tobacco pipe, baby.
Yeah, and maybe what you could have is like one of those like really comically large joints, like from like Cheech and Chong, but smoke them out of like a trumpet or something. That's what makes it a jazz cigarette.
Oh, just smoking an absolute chode of a joint out of a berry sacks.
Exactly.
Oh my god, the word chode, like, ever since, have you seen I Think You Should Leave, the Tim Robinson sketch show on Netflix?
I have not.
There is a scene in one of the sketches where someone just is talking about a baby, like a baby's like chubbiness, like this baby's in the 99th percentile, and someone remarks, "Oh, we got a certified chode on our hands," and the word chode has really been just taking up so much real estate in my brain.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. It's a good word.
Yeah.
So Trailer has to go to the jail and bail out his both of his fail sons.
Yes.
The one that he kind of loves and the one who he never really interacts with. So
he cares Joseph, but does not really care Lysol.
Yeah. So he sorry. Before he goes to the jail, he actually meets up with Gasigu, the fisherman.
He doesn't sees him, and then he sees that the fish in his cooler are all like absolutely no tummy and still flopping around like crazy.
Exactly, and so they start to sort of get a little bit of a weird feeling about things, and so they decide that they're gonna burn the fish and the dog that they found in a barrel. Mm-hmm. And then Trailer looks at Gasigu and says, "You, I now diagnose you with cop," and deputizes Gasigu. Gasigu, although by the way, who is I believe Trailer's father, because he's referred to as Grandpa by Joseph later.
Yeah.
So, Trailer and Joss, the ex-wife, who's also a nurse, they go into town to free Joseph from jail and Lysol as well.
Yeah,
and they
Joseph said, "Bro, you are posting bail. I am going to lose jail time." Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. It's just I knew that there was going to be a couple of crimes from your end.
All I do is crimes. But Trailer and Joss show up and they talk to the is he just a police? He's not like the head the police chief or anything, right? He's just like a standard cop.
Yeah, he's a standard cop in a town outside of the reservation. Also, the Red Crow Indian Reservation is not real. It's kind of an amalgam of a bunch of reservations, but it's also supposed to take place in Quebec. Jeff made a movie called Rhymes for Young Ghouls. That movie also takes place in the Red Crow Indian Reservation.
I'm curious. Is there like a reason that I feel like the there are two things that I have seen in recent memory that have like created like an Indian reservation out of whole cloth for the sake of a story, and I just don't understand why. I feel like the first time that I saw that was in infamous Second Son, which features an indigenous protagonist but from a completely made up tribe. That I could see why the bad decision was made there, because it was like, that's Ubisoft. It's, French people and shit. I think that's Ubisoft at least. But this is like all an indigenous cast, and the Wikipedia calls Jeff Barnaby is a Mi'kmaq director per Wikipedia. I'm curious what the reason for making that up. If you can think of one. If you don't, that's
so I think probably part of the reason is for Jeff to have a reservation that exists that he doesn't have to necessarily account for like who would be which nations would be stationed there. So I'm from Six Nations of the Grand River, which is a reserve just outside of just south of Toronto. And there are obviously Haudenosaunee people there, so Oneida, Mohawk, Seneca, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Tuscarora people there.
Yep.
But there's also Mississauga people there, and there are some people who live on reserve who are not Haudenosaunee at all, and who are like Ojibwe, for example. And so when you have a reserve, at least in Canada, there can be a little bit of wiggle room in terms of like what nations people belong to on that reserve.
Okay.
So when he says like the Red Crow Indian Reservation, he wouldn't like, no one would ever introduce themselves as being of the Red Crow Nation.
Right.
They would say, I'm Mi'kmaq from the Red Crow Indian Reservation.
Okay.
And so I would never say to somebody, you know, I would say I'm Six Nations because I'm Haudenosaunee, but like if I were to introduce myself to somebody, I'd say I'm Oneida from Six Nations of the Grand River.
Okay.
Okay. So in Canada, there's a little bit more wiggle room. So
I think it makes like no matter what even if the reason was the exact same as the reason that the Ubisoft guys did it, which I don't think the reason is, but if it is. No, that was Insomniac. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. But even if it was the same reason, like Jeff Barnaby has a lot more freedom to do that as an actual, you know, like Indigenous person than you know, the developers at Insomniac do.
For sure, I would say that as far as video games go, probably top of the list for kudos probably goes to. I'm not familiar with this series. I only know about the series. I only know about this game because of a video that someone posted about it. There's an Assassin's Creed game where you play a Mohawk person.
Yes.
And that person and like they actually went ahead and they actually hired people who speak the language and who like know about like Haudenosaunee culture and like actually did a little bit of research. And what I think is cool is that there are multiple Indigenous people in that game, but you play the only Haudenosaunee person. And so there's a strained kind of relationship between your character and other people from other nations who are in that area. Because it takes place at a time where unfortunately conflict between nations was still pretty apparent. So Haudenosaunee people sided with the British during the American Revolution because they believed that the British, because they signed treaties with the Dutch that the British then later signed on to as well, and so they saw themselves as British allies, and Americans were supported mostly by other nations. So when the fighting got on, you know, there were Indigenous people on both sides who were caught in the crossfire. And so when the Americans won the War of Independence, the Haudenosaunee people had to leave upstate New York, Wisconsin, and really the New England area in general, and that's why so many Haudenosaunee people live in Quebec and Ontario, because they were literally just pushed north.
Yeah,
and there are still some people who live in there's still some Haudenosaunee people who live in the States. Like there's in Wisconsin, there's still an Oneida reserve.
Yeah.
When the British were kicked out of America, they kind of like were like, okay, well, we're just going to give the people who allied with us land, and they just stationed us all along the border, just in case America came back. Indigenous people would be the first line of defense, basically.
Oh, that's awful nice of them.
Yeah. There's actually a reserve in Quebec that actually borders Canada and the United States.
That's like the exact opposite of giving your little brother a controller and not plugging it in.
Yeah. It's like they're the only one plugged in.
It's like someone is trying to beat the shit out of your older brother, and your older brother just like holds you up in front of you to deflect the. It's like the end of the Dead Zone when the bad guy holds up a baby to shield himself from the main character sniping him.
Yeah, it's like, well, if we die, it's your fault. It's history.
Thank you.
It's sad. Yeah.
We meet the police chief, not the police chief. This guy who's also just a cop. His name's Shamu, and they're like, all right, let's go get your two sons out of the Clink trailer. And then there's another guy in there who's sick. He pukes up blood. He's very violent. He bites Joseph. And Joseph's like, okay, well, thanks for getting me out, Dad. I'm gonna go to the hospital, get this checked out. And his girlfriend's there.
Yes. Joseph is a very young man. He's probably about 17, 18, 19, around there.
About that.
And he has a girlfriend. He has a girlfriend named Charlie. She's non-indigenous.
Yes.
And she's pregnant. So
his girlfriend Charlie is like, they're like thinking about getting an abortion, and Joseph goes over, and there's this sweet, I don't know, this nice moment of like, hey, so do you want to go through with this? It's it's your decision. And she just like shakes her head, and Joseph is like, okay. And
yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, and I think that at this time, in the 80s, we're really starting to move into a little bit more of the of like the sort of we're about 15 years from this at this point, around from like residential schools just about to start being closed, but they're less popular in the 80s and than they were in the 70s and 60s.
Yeah.
And so this Joseph, who is like, he's from a pretty messed up family. His mom and his dad don't get on, and he feels like he doesn't live up to his dad's expectations, and also he doesn't want to become his dad.
Also, his mom's a nurse and his dad is a cop, so there were probably a lot of nights where he was at home having to make dinner on his lonesome.
Yeah, and so he asks Charlie if she's like ashamed of him or embarrassed by him, and when she says no, he's like, okay, then let's do this thing. Let's try and make it work between
you, me, and Dupree. And Dupree. Yeah. Also, by the way, babe, how do you feel about Dupree as a name for our baby?
Why are you walking away?
I just love Owen Wilson.
Yeah, and as somebody who my brother had a child at a very young age as well, 16, but there's this sort of feeling that like when you're a young parent, he's told me this, that like when you're a young parent, you kind of you grow up very, very fast. And so even though he's a year younger than me, like he actually managed to make it work. And, now I'm an uncle. And so I have like this nephew who's really cool and smart and stuff. And so, having continuity within the family is a thing that we're still struggling with as Indigenous people today, because Indigenous children are overrepresented in child care and child welfare system, and like there's a lot of children who just end up sort of being shopped around to foster families, and it's called the millennial scoop because it's really a continuation and worsening of the 60s scoop, which was like literally children being taken away from families who were so broken and traumatized by residential schools that they were not able to take care of their children. And so, it's a thing that we're still dealing with. And so to have that show up in this movie in a very, it's not an over the top way where Joseph's saying, I don't want to repeat my dad's mistakes or whatever. It's just kind of like, it's unsaid, but it's sort of, it's there for people who understand the reality of the situation in like real life terms.
Yeah. jumping back just like like 30 seconds ago, when you said indigenous children are overrepresented in, for some reason my brain was thinking you were just about to say like in like movies, and I was like, I don't watch that many movies that aren't horror movies, so I'm not gonna call John on that one. But and then you said,
well,
what you said.
well, as far as I'm concerned, Baby Yoda is indigenous, so
you know what,
like.
You know what? We take those.
Yeah. We claim Baby Yoda immediately.
Hell yeah.
It's actually kind of funny how.
So wait, does that mean regular Yoda also?
Yeah. I mean, like, basically, I could see it. I could see him. I could see Yoda being like a sassy old man who just kind of asks his grandchildren to help him around the house,
Yeah.
Hey, dig that car out of the ditch.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
I use the Force, I will not.
Yeah.
Shovels in the garage they are.
Yeah. But so trailer liberates Joseph and Lysol from the hospital. So Joseph goes hangs out with Charlie. Yep. But we also missed a thing, which was that when the white man who is spitting up and vomiting blood attacks Joseph, he also attacks the white sheriff.
Shamu.
The white chief. Yeah, the white police officer. Sorry, Shamu.
Shamu, yeah.
And when that happens, it's kind of one of those things where it's very subtle in the sense that like they basically knock him unconscious, like with the butt of the shotgun that he's got, but he just immediately gets back up, and we cut away from that scene.
Yeah. We have
but it's a very
we have like a small scene of like Jaw. No. The thing I'm thinking of is later. Go on. You were saying?
Yeah, just the subtle storytelling of like the police officer gets bitten by somebody in the tank, and all the indigenous people leave the scene, and we only see the repercussions of what's happened later. Mm-hmm. So yeah, do you want to pick up after the hospital scene? Yeah,
well, so the hospital scene happens. We get the Joseph and Charlie stuff, and then we also see like Joss, because that's the hospital that Joss works at, who is Joseph's mom. Sorry, jumping back real quick. When Trailer goes to the jail to get Lysol and Joseph out, Lysol calls Trailer a sperm donor, which is a really funny insult to huck at someone.
Yeah, especially when they're your dad.
Yeah,
it's like sperm. It's not high on the donation morality scale,
right? We were talking,
but it's still on there.
Yeah, like I think political compass where like top right is donating blood, top left is donating sperm, bottom left is robbing a sperm bank, and bottom right is robbing a blood bank. And then everything else goes in between.
Yeah. Organs straight in the middle.
Robbing a regular bank is middle far right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're at the hospital. Joseph talks to his girlfriend Charlie, and then Joss comes running through. Like there's a big code happening. We also see like another white doctor run past, and he's like all bloodied up. He's definitely gotten bit. And we don't really see that much until later, because what happens next is that Trailer gets a call from another indigenous guy named Shooker, and he's like, "Hey, man, some shit's all fucked up." And so Trailer goes to his place and gets attacked and bitten by Shooker's girlfriend, who has also eaten their baby.
Yeah, it's a very quick shot of the white girlfriend from behind eating the child, yeah. and then just like turns around and just charges Trailer.
Real Saturn devouring his son type shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't. There's no close-ups of the actual child, but it is some very creepy shit, and it immediately comes at you like right away, like oh, like because Shooker is kind of despondent, but also he may be inebriated, and so you kind of get the sense that like oh, it's a domestic dispute or whatever. It's so Trailer goes into the house and he sees something that like would mess you up if you saw that for real.
Yeah.
So he gets attacked by the girlfriend, and yeah.
One of my small qualms with this movie comes from this, which is just like, I feel like it is such an unnecessary trauma, I guess, to visit upon of the zombie woman attacking her child.
Yeah, like, it happened in Day of the Dead as well, the remake.
It happened in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to a prominent character or anything, but
yeah. Babies, I think infants in horror especially are such a they're such they're a very touchy thing to happen because it's like
the thing is that like if I'm watching Final Destination 2 and I see that scene where that 11-year-old kid with the frosted tips gets absolutely obliterated by a pane of glass falling on him, I'm here for it. I'm 100% in for it. But like if you have new baby just out and you see the mother of that baby just like flossing her teeth with its like with its musculature, that's not good to me.
Yeah. We still want to emphasize fuck them kids, but also
not that young, and also it feels like a bit of I was really it's not quite as much as like having a pregnant woman be killed. I just feel like there's just like a bit of like misogyny wrapped up in that somewhere.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. We could pontificate over it forever, but it's just a very shocking image, and it sort of signals that this movie's gonna kick it up to 12 once in a while. It doesn't go full tilt like a Rob Zombie movie or anything, but like it is gonna frequently turn up the volume on the shock and horror and gore stuff.
Yeah,
which is fitting for a zombie film.
Right.
And so speaking of that, there's a really cool shot where Trailer runs out of the house and the girlfriend chases after him, and he eventually gets the upper hand and loads a shotgun. Decides not to use not to fire the gun,
because she starts attacking Shooker, and then Trailer is like, okay, I gotta like his hands are like shaking, and he's like, all right, I gotta load this shotgun, and then he walks over to where she is like attacking Shooker, and he like just bashes her skull in with the butt of the rifle, or the butt of the shotgun, does not shoot it once. Which
it's a very cool scene.
It is.
It's like natural.
Yeah.
It's a very natural scene. But there's like there's a red tint to the lighting because it's like it's shot at night and like the cop car has its lights on, and it's like almost a scene out of like Mandy.
Yeah, it did feel a little bit Mandy-esque. There's another Mandy-ish scene later, shortly after, where they they drive away from there, and Shooker's having a bad time. Trailer is also having a bad time because he gets a call from Joss, and she's like, "Don't get bit," and he just like looks at the bite mark on his arm and is like, "Ah, shit, that's probably gonna be a problem later." They wind up meeting with Charlie, Joseph, and who's the third person in the hospital? Joss is with them in the ambulance. And there's also some woman just like in the ambulance with them, but she's been bitten, and so she goes absolutely. She just goes absolutely zombie mode on them. And they convene with Trailer and Shooker, and then because we get this shot of I don't remember which one of them is being pinned down, but one of them is being pinned down by the zombified woman, and we get like this first person shot of her face getting chainsawed through.
Yeah, that's I believe Trailer's being pinned down by the woman in the ambulance, and she gets chainsawed in the head from behind, so we just see the blade come out of her face, and Oh my gosh, it's a very almost Argento style, like kill,
Yeah.
but in that Mandy way, where it's like, you add a very loud chainsaw to it, and I believe the chainsaw is being wielded by
I think Shooker.
I believe so, yes. And yeah, it's just one of those things where like they're on the bridge where the giant dump took place, and now it's Joss, Joseph, Charlie, Trailer, and Shooker, who are just like standing on the bridge and just like, well, shit. And then we cut to 6 months later. This
shit does a time skip.
Yeah, 30 minutes in, boom, we're going straight to the good stuff. And so, Jeff treats us to what basically happens 6 months after a zombie outbreak. Although they don't call them zombies in this movie.
They call them Zeds because it's important for you to know that they're Canadian.
It is important for us to know that. And so what I actually think is kind of funny about this is that Zed is the common word that we use for Z, for the final letter of the alphabet. But what I think is so fucking funny is that like there's this idea that like we say Zed because we're Canadian, and when you're an Indigenous person, when you hear people say because we're Canadian, you're kind of like, are we though?
Yeah, you know what? Good point.
Are we all? Because we have treaties made out of wampum beads that are older than your country.
You know what? You're right.
And so when I think what's funny is that like you called I think that like I would love to see a scene where like they call them Zeds not because they're being funny and like it's like Z like zombie, but also Zeds like they're dead. But like we're gonna call them Zeds because they're the Canadian ones. Yeah. They're the
right.
they're the non-Indigenous ones. So they're Zeds because they're Canadian.
Right. We talked about it, but the whole thing is that the Indigenous people are immune to being zombified because of their like the title implies based on their blood to some extent.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of interesting and not actually something that's said.
Yeah, it's not.
It is referenced outside. It is referenced like out loud by some characters, but it's ultimately not a thing where they're like, Indigenous people are immune to the disease. Right. It's just that Trailer gets bitten.
There's never a scene of someone saying that it's because of our blood quantum that we can survive.
Oh God. Oh yeah,
and I think
that would be.
I think
whack.
It's for the best that they don't use that exact word in this movie because
exactly.
I mean, it felt. I think if they did it, it would feel a little bit like the Master's Tools type speech.
Exactly, and it would be just too gauche for that. And I think what I love so much about this movie is that it takes a turn and it's willing to play with some of those like that term and some of that like language, but like you don't really have to think about it too much if you want to. You don't have to think about it and get every reference to enjoy the film.
Yeah,
and I think what I love so much about specifically the blood thing is that they learn that they're immune because Joseph and Trailer get bitten and they don't turn.
Yeah.
So there could have been a whole scene where it's like, is it just Trailer's family or is it every Indigenous person? And they could have expounded upon it and done a whole lot of. This movie could have been 2.5 hours with the exposition that they could have done if they tried to explain every Indigenous reference or Indigenous history reference in the movie, but they don't. And so this movie, just flies by and lets the audience sort of pick up on the stuff that's happening. And so
right, it's like it's the and I apologize. I would like to say in advance, I'm sorry, this is an infantilizing comparison, but it's like watching a Pixar movie with your kid and you're an adult, and it's like there's enough there for the kid to get, but then you the adult, you're like, I see.
No, it's a very apt point because it's just good storytelling.
Yeah, it is. They don't need to explain anything, and if there's anything you're left in the dark about, do some fucking research.
Yeah, and so or watch or listen to Fear Baiting and hear me explain some of it.
Exactly. Everyone listening right now is like that one image of the guy like floating on a hot air balloon of his own brain.
Yeah, and so we get introduced to the camp, which is kind of this blockade kind of camp thing that they have set up.
It's your typical like zombie fort like zombie fort type area.
For sure. Let me just look up the name of this photograph really quickly. So there's a scene that happens with no dialogue. There's a scene that happens once we get sort of like before we get a really close up shot of the an establishing shot of the camp, where Lysol, who is wearing a fucking amazing outfit, he has like this leather jacket with all this paint on it, and he has this painted mask. Lysol's great. He's a shithead, and he's really not a great person, but he does this thing where he walks up to this zombie that has no arms or legs and is chained to the wall outside of the camp. And it's like, gnarling, and it's like flashing around and stuff. And he walks up to it, and he has his bandana on. And also the zombie is wearing like a military outfit and like a helmet.
Yeah.
And they stand face to face with each other, and at the time I thought like, I really kind of don't want to explain this scene too much to you at the time, but this is actually a reference to a very famous photograph taken during the Oka crisis.
I couldn't put any sort of finger on it, but like I did feel like this was like making a symbology of something of that I did not personally understand.
Yeah,
it felt like the same feeling you get when someone references like a fucking oh god, I had the guy who drew all those pictures of like diners and shit, and that one diner with no exit. I'm completely off track.
Oh yes, Nighthawks, the painting called Nighthawks.
Yeah, it's like whenever hold on. I'm gonna splice this to make it a good joke. Hold on. Okay, so get ready for this one. It's the same feeling that you get when you look at an Edward Hopper painting and you see you see a reference to an Edward Hopper painting, and you're like, well, I don't know what that's referencing, but it feels like it's referencing something. But anyways, if you want to post that in the server,
for sure. Yeah, the painting, the photograph is called Face to Face, and it's a member of the Warrior Society for the Oka camp, staring at a member of the Royal Second Regiment, 22nd Regiment.
Okay.
And so the Oka crisis, also known as the Ganawage encampment, was a moment in Canadian history in 1990. Basically, the town of Oka, Quebec, wanted to build a golf course, and in order to do so, they wanted to completely clear a traditional Haudenosaunee, specifically Mohawk graveyard to do so.
Ooh, okay, so obviously any clearing of indigenous lands for the sake of non-indigenous, purposes is bad, but there's a sliding scale of that, it's all terrible, but that is the... Clearing a graveyard so that you can play golf on it is that is...
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad, and so
holy shit!
Yeah, literally.
I'm beside myself a little bit.
They watched the Poltergeist movie, and they were like, "I want to try that," and they want and with my golf course, and so there was an occupation, and the crisis basically was the the Mohawk people of Ganawage didn't want that shit to go down, and so they occupied the area that the graveyard was in, and so they started a blockade, very much like the current ongoing blockades at 1492 and Landback Lane and other places.
Yeah, I was listening to it might be a couple of weeks old at this point, but the Citations Needed episode talking about the protests happening in Hawaii regarding regarding that telescope being built.
Yes. There are many actions taking place, and so
if you want to learn more about that specifically, I recommend listening to the. Hold on, I'm going to shout out because they had an Indigenous scholar on to talk about it at two of them actually to talk about at length.
Hell yeah!
Citations Needed.
Yeah, so the image is basically the exact same reference. It's a Indigenous man wearing a bandana and glasses and carrying a AK-47. He is staring down this man named Patrick Cloutier, who is a member of the army because Canada called in the army to stop this blockade from happening. So every time someone says like Canada, they have socialism in Canada, and they're not falling apart. Just keep in mind that the Canada has called the police, the military, and the RCMP multiple times to defend private businesses and private corporations against Indigenous people. The Oka crisis was the thing that took place just before I was born, and my mom actually, while she was pregnant with me, was told by her grandmother to participate in actions of solidarity, like protests and marches and stuff. And so it was really a thing that, like, that is the world that I was born into. The world had just watched as a group of Mohawk people tried to stop encroachment on their lands by the government. And that's not ancient history. That was like the year before I was born. There's a great documentary about the Oka crisis called Ganasatake 270 Years of Resistance. It's almost certainly free to watch somewhere. It is a film by a woman who was at the camp. And so there are scenes where they are blaring sirens into the camp and, pointing guns at Indigenous women. And it's a hard watch, but it's really important. And, I think that the very least that we can do is be aware of the fact that Indigenous people were kind of experts at building up camps and blockades and stuff.
Yeah, I finally found that episode that I was looking for, and the reason it took me so long is because my podcatcher, I guess, decided to serve me an episode from about a year ago, because the original episode went up on November 20th of 2019.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, I was just like, I was like looking through my podcatcher, and I was like, oh, hey, there's a Citations Needed from a couple of weeks ago. I must have missed out on, but it was just my podcatcher being like, hey, you missed this one from a year ago.
Thanks, podcatcher.
Well, I said thank you. But yeah, it's the episode's titled News Brief, a conversation with Indigenous media resistance on Mauna Kea. Very, and I believe still a thing that's very much relevant, still happening. Yeah. It was a really good episode. They talked to Mikey Inoue and Elima Long, who are they are Hawaiian natives and working. They were people who are like filming and working with the people who are doing the direct action on Mauna Kea.
Hell yeah.
Good episode. Go listen to it.
Yeah, I should really get into Citations Needed because they do good stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, before we go back to the movie, I just want to say that image of the Oka crisis looks. I love that image because the fucking jarhead looks like he is either about to piss his pants, just pissed his pants, or both.
Yeah, like in the process of
he is trying so hard not to pee his pants.
Yeah, and I think that this the image is very evocative, and it was very widely published because really, the framing of the photo is such that like the only weapon we see in the photo is like held by an indigenous person. And so the reason why the photograph was very popular was because it was like, oh, there's this armed terrorist faction in Oka, and then there's like the little Canadian army who are just trying to keep peace and order.
I'm just a little jarhead, mister. I'm just a little itty bitty arm of the settler colonialist machine. Oh, I'm just a little whittle cog. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah. So all of that aside, that one scene that happened,
blood quantum.
We get a shot of the camp, and things are going pretty okay. There's the first thing we see at the camp, the first like event that happens is Joseph and Charlie come back with a group of survivors who they found while patrolling the outskirts of the camp. They find this white dude who's got like microkinetic hair. He's got like a ginger beard, and he's got sideburns and stuff. And he's got an injured woman with him, who I believe is like a young teenage girl or something like that. And there's this other woman whose name is Lilith. Yeah. And they get interrogated. They're like, well, what's going on? Why is this person injured? And they're like, and so the white guy is kind of hemming and hawing and saying like, oh, she just hurt herself, and so she's injured, and so I'm carrying her or whatever. But then
they take a look at her neck, and they're like, hey, she's got a bite. You can go in the settlement, dude, but your daughter can't. Please go inside. And Trailer pulls out the fucking sickest axe I've ever seen. Like, it's like, it's got this axe is like, it looks a bit like a Labrys, and then it's got like teeth all over it, like it's a chainsaw.
Yeah, it's sick looking, and
I'm really sad I didn't get to see any zombies get torn to shreds with it. Though I did get to see zombies torn to shreds by a different weapon, which I'm very happy about.
Oh yeah. We this movie's really got it all, and so this guy, he begrudgingly, he and Lilith are begrudgingly allowed inside of the camp, and
one of the people who is working the camp. I don't. This wasn't. I don't remember what the hell. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. But it's like Lysol's kind of like girlfriend.
Oh yeah, that's what's her name? Her name's James.
James. Okay.
Yeah.
That's hey, you love to see that. Fuck a gender prescriptivist. Fuck gender prescriptivism when it comes to names.
Yeah. So
Johnny Cash said a boy named Sue, and in the 60s everyone said ha ha ha, but in the now Johnny Cash would say a boy named Sue, and we would all be clapping.
You know what? Yeah. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
So,
but she turns to the guy whose daughter, like literally 5 minutes ago, not even 5 minutes ago. This guy was like less than 60 seconds ago. This man was like torn away from his daughter, who was absolutely 100% killed as soon as he stopped watching. And she is like, "Can you stop having cringe emotions? Listen, your daughter's dead. This shit all sucks. We've all lost people, and yes, they have all lost people, but also like." Give the guy like an hour or two. Like, let him decompress a bit before you're like, get over it, buddy.
For sure, we're really sort of like in the shit with that, and so The guy
offs himself as a result of that. Well, as a result of many things. I don't know if not saying that to him would have meant he did not slit his wrists in the bathroom.
For sure. We have unfortunately we have a moment where actually,
because Lilith goes to Joss and is like, and Joss is like, "Hey, have you been bitten?" And Lilith's like, "Does anyone ever say yes to that?" And Joss says no, and Lilith says, "Well, then no, I have not been bitten." But then Lilith goes to the bathroom and lifts up her shirt, and she's been bitten. But at the back of the bathroom, we see just a bunch of blood oozing out of a stall, and we see the dad who has opened his wrists up and just bled out all over the bathroom.
Yeah, so the camp does host like non-indigenous survivors, but they're very much like, kept away from the Warrior Society.
And also, like they some of them host them very begrudgingly. Like one of Lysol's major motivations is to say, like, hey, I don't want to fucking put these people up anymore. They're not immune. They're a danger to us.
Yeah, and so there's a tension between Lysol and Joseph, because when Joseph brings and Charlie bring this group of white people to the camp, Lysol immediately starts waving his gun around at them, and Charlie steps in front of Lysol, in between Lysol and the girl who's being put on the ground, and he aims the gun right at her stomach, while she is visibly pregnant, because she is still. Yeah,
that's like I another thing that this is the part of the movie where I was like, I'm gonna be pretty cross if this woman dies before she has her baby, and I'm gonna be less cross, but still somewhat cross if she dies after having her baby.
Yeah, and so Lysol, sort of like has this like sort of like kind of attitude where he doesn't really want to help anybody. He just kind of wants to keep the people who he cares about safe, but also he is very much at that point where he doesn't know how to do any of those things, because he ultimately does some stuff that puts everybody in harm's way.
Yeah.
So after the father dies, Trailer is brought into the Trailer's told by I'm
sorry, did a guest just arrive on your desk?
Yeah, no, sorry. I just bumped my mic a little bit.
Oh, I thought I heard the sound of like a kitty coming up and purring.
I have 5 cats. They all hate me. So whenever we're in the HKIP and I see aminals and I see cats and dogs and lizards loving their owners, I'm like, God, I wish that were me.
Smile is giving me a 50-yard stare right now because I didn't give her crickets yesterday, and she's very grumpy about that fact. But listen, Smile, I'm talking to you, buddy. I know you're listening to this podcast. If you just eat your vegetables, that's going to be a lot of good for your tummy.
Yeah, it's just,
I mean, I guess that's also me at myself. Like, my lunch today was some fucking some Tyson brand buffalo style chicken tenders and tater tots cooked in the oven.
Oh, the fuck energy meal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I always call that meal, the fuck energy meal.
Yeah. Just like there's a recreation of that Vine where that person says this chicken's almost as juicy as my ass, but just say this is my fuck energy meal. This is
the meal I eat when I'm about to absolutely pound someone's mouth.
I pound my mouth before I pound.
Listen,
pound your own mouth before I'm pounding the mouths of others.
Listen. If I'm gonna suck your dick, do you or do you not want a ring of buffalo chicken flavored stuff at the base of your dick?
So the father dies, and Trailer has to go in and
Trailer takes care of that. Takes care of him. And then Lysol has a shelter away from the compound, and they
have a bit of a party there.
Yeah, they have a bit of a party there, and Joseph's there, and Joseph's like, "Hey, Lysol, what you doing?" And then he walks into the room where he and Lilith were, And Lilith is chewing on Lysol's penis like an uncooked hot dog.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's after Lysol tells his story to Joseph about getting caught up in like, you know, just shenanigans and being a real creep about it. And, you know, he Lysol indicates that he wants to seduce or be with Lilith, and like he sort of like puts the news on her. And before Joseph meets Lysol, Gary Farmer, who is a very famous actor, like he was in Ghost Dog, he was in Dead Man with Johnny Depp. Fuck that guy, but also, you know, but Gary Farmer is really great. He's a very well-known actor. If you are Indigenous, it is one of your jobs to have at least 5 or 10 different references to this one movie called Smoke Signals, which is, I believe, the first movie ever to be directed and starred an entire Indigenous cast. Smoke Signals is a movie that is like a meme among Indigenous people, but Gary Farmer plays the role of the main character's father in that movie. And so Gary is a very well-known actor, very beloved actor. Gary Farmer's character, whose name is Moon, he tells this story about he sort of starts philosophizing and pontificating about like the nature of the zombie outbreak and everything like that. And Moon and Lysol are very close. And Moon says something, and we have like this animation sequence where Moon talks about, you know, maybe nature created this outbreak and this virus so that she could finally find a use for white people, because she's so sick and tired of human beings treating her so poorly. And Moon says, who knows if we are who can say whether Indigenous people, whether we are immune to it? Maybe the earth has just forgotten us. And it's this, and there's this really cool like animation shot of Lysol stabbing this like zombie head with Lysol also has a really cool weapon. It's like this it's one of those like very long weapons with a blade at the end. It's like a spear kind of.
It kind of looks like if you took like a traditional like a two-handed scythe that you would use for like cleaving grain, and then you took off the scythe end and you made it a spear.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm sure someone who is in HEMA will probably know what it is, but I'm not a nerd, so you know, I'm a jock who likes to fuck. No, I'm just
You're a jock who loves to fuck, and so you eat Tyson brand buffalo style chicken fingers and tater tots every day.
This podcast is not sponsored by Tyson brand.
Tyson baby flavored buffalo style chicken tenders. They're made of something.
They're made of things. But yeah, it's a really interesting kind of like monologue a little bit. And then Joseph, who is like me at every party I've ever been to.
Yeah, we get this little monologue, and there's also a shot of Moon obliterating a bunch of zombies on the bridge with a snowblower.
Oh yeah, that's how they secure the bridge, is that they create like this wall barricade and they just have the snowblower just going. And
Moon's just like sitting in there, turning the snowblower on. He like sits back, like eats a sandwich.
Yeah. There's a real sense that like the people who are close to Lysol are kind of, you know, have like their own ulterior motives. Like they're the kind of people who are all too eager for there to be a zombie apocalypse so they can enact some of their fucking inherited traumas or whatever, and like and fulfill their fantasies of power fulfillment. But you know, first of all, there has to be a violation of that power. So Joseph, as we mentioned, walks into a room where Lysol and Lilith are, and Lilith is she has Lysol's severed penis in her mouth.
Yep.
And it is
she said,
wow.
She said, "Hey, babe, I know you've been having some bottom dysphoria lately. Let me help you out."
Oh. You can't. I mean, you can. Like, it's your right, but oh god.
Listen, earlier in this episode, I was about to say I'd give my left nut for something, and then I was like, well, I would give my left nut for very little. Like, but you can just have that one for free.
I would give it away for whatever someone else thinks it's worth.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, she bites off his pee-pee, and he kind of like recovers from this pretty quicker than I would expect, I guess. Like, I guess adrenaline and needing to and trying to not die really goes a long way. But he really like recovers from having his whole ass dick bitten off.
Yeah, I'm not a scientist or anything, but like he manages to walk, and he not without assistance.
Yeah, he manages to walk, and he also manages to betray everyone because Joseph's like, okay, we got to restrain her and take her back to the settlement, and Lysol's like, yeah, okay, you're gonna do a lot of the heavy lifting. My penis is gone now. But so they tie her up, basically. They bring her back to the compound, but then Lysol's like, fuck you, fuck this entire thing. He stabs Joseph, and then he like lets Lilith loose in the compound, she just goes absolutely like,
she goes absolute sicko mode on the entire fucking camp. Sicko mode
on everybody.
Yeah, and it's really fucked up because like the camp is where all of the survivors live, not the warriors. So
the warriors are all out like securing a gas station. Trailer, Gisigu, someone else who we haven't met much, who we haven't talked about before, named Bumper, and I think Shooker is also there. They're all like trying to like secure a gas station for like supplies and such. And they walk in, and this is when Grandpa Gisigu displays his incredible katana skills. We didn't mention, but Grandpa Gisigu has a katana.
It's so fucking brilliant, and like the headcanon in my mind is that Gisigu, this is 1980, so let's say Gisigu is like 60 years old, right?
Sure. He
would have been old enough to enlist to have enlisted in the army.
Yes.
And somehow, some way ends up in Japan, and my headcanon is that that's a katana from Japan.
Oh, absolutely.
And so he's got this katana, and he's just going fucking ham.
Yeah.
Trailer kills one zombie in this gas station.
There's a great
Bumper
scene where like Trailer and Bumper are like scouring the first floor, and then all of a sudden, like through a window, the top half of a zombie falls and like dangles from like a second story window, and we see that like Gisigu has just like cut this zombie in half at the tummy and just dangled it by its tummy entrails.
No, actually, that's Bumper who chainsaws that zombie in half.
It's the
because they open a sliding door, Saw movie style. They open a door, and inside this room is a pile of 10 zombies.
And in the middle of all of them is just Gisigu sheathing his blade. He says nothing personnel, kid, and just puts his sword away.
Zom dead. Boom.
Yeah, they say Zed, and Gisigu says Zed's dead.
Throws the head at the camera. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Give Gisigu a movie. Yeah. Oh my god, it's perfect.
Yeah,
absolutely perfect. So after Lilith is set loose on the camp, Trailer and Gisigu, they come back and they find that the camp is overrun by zombies. So they start hatching a plan to get because the thing is that as Lilith turns the non-indigenous people in the camp, then the problem gets worse and worse and worse.
Right, because the indigenous people in the camp, they are immune to being turned into zombies. They are not immune to having zombies rip out their innards.
Exactly. So they have this really they have like this ingenious plan, which is probably something that I would probably come up with in like a D&D game or something, where they put I believe it's Trailer puts a 8-track cassette in his car and starts blaring music.
Right. Now, if this was you, I know we're running long, but I keep going on tangents. If this was you, what song are you bumping in that cassette tape? Because I think the thing I toss in that 8-track is like it's absolutely 100% Bad Moon Rising.
Oh yeah, you know, if I know I'm in a horror movie, gotta be Bad Moon Rising, because that song fucking slaps.
or just like some fucking J-Rock shit. Like, no, you throw on Caramel. You throw on your 8-track of Caramel Downset.
Oh my god!
I'm just going to clarify that that for anyone who is going to at me on Twitter about this, because I have friends who will. I know that Caramel Downson is not J-Rock. It was the train of thought that I was on. Please understand. Please bear with me. Anyways, just cutting off zombie heads with your katana grandpa, while just in the background there's Dansame o Chapaida.
But you have to do the dance.
Oh, you have to do the dance.
Oh my god. Okay, well, you took the best option, so I'd probably have to go with the third best option, which would be oh my god, what's the name of the song? Ballroom Blitz.
That's another good one.
Because I love Wayne's World, and B, that song actually is supposed to be played during a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you could do half of the Steely Dan discography also.
Yeah.
Just, put on Ricky Don't Lose That Number and just boom. Oh, that's not Ricky Don't Lose That. That's something off Aja. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah. I want to say
sorry, I just realized that the JoJo Part 2, the Red Stone of Aja, it is possibly both a reference to the band of Aja, but also the Steely Dan record of Aja.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Anyway,
because JoJo's just wacky like that.
It is. It's bizarre.
Very bizarre.
But so in this attempt to save people in the camp, all after Lilith has gone sicko mode, Trailer does die.
Yeah, Trailer manages to get Joss, Joseph, Charlie, and a few of the other survivors into a position where they could run away, and he would hold back the zombies. And he ends up not being able to do so. He's able to have them escape, but unfortunately, he's trapped under a door, and Zeds just eat him. It's a very bittersweet moment, because on the one hand they were able to escape, but also we lost Trailer. So the one good cop, whoever lived dies in this movie.
Yeah.
So there's a confrontation between when Gasigu and Bumper meet up with Joss, Joseph, and Charlie. There's a scene where Gasigu and Bumper are driving in the car, and they get a call from Doris, who is the dispatch officer. Lysol has her kidnapped, and she tells Gasigu to go to the church, which is where they were all going to agree to rendezvous if they ever got lost or split up. And Doris gets killed by a zombie because of Lysol.
R.I.P. Doris.
Yeah. But Lysol and Moon start doing some really fucked up shit in the church. Moon is pouring gasoline on a people, with the idea being that they would attract zombies to the church and then set the people in the church and the zombies on fire.
Yeah.
But before he can do that, Gasigu, the most incredible character to ever exist in the movie, just absolutely jams the katana through half of his head.
Yeah.
It's not quite a clean cut, and so it's he gets in and just boom, just done.
Yeah,
absolutely, just 100% finished.
Dead.
And then so Gasigu sort of chastises James and says, like, because James is kind of helping going along with Lysol and Moon's shit.
Yeah.
Kasigu like tells tells James to sort of act, like get your head out of your ass and where's Lysol? And then there's a scene where Joseph and Kasigu and Lysol all meet in the graveyard outside of the church. And Joseph stabs Lysol with a knife. And as Lysol is laying on the ground, Kasigu takes his gun and fires it into the air and attracts.
And then he says, "Now all of China knows you're here, dying on the ground."
Yeah, and then Lysol gets eaten by zombies.
Yep.
It's
and so we've got Joseph, Charlie, and Joss left, and they're about to go with Kasigu out into the water on a boat. But Kasigu is like, "I'm not leaving this land behind. I'm not doing that." And so he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna fucking be epic last stand, grandpa." And then we get like another, and we haven't talked about that, but like there's like 3 or 4 times in the movie where you get like a. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. Like, it's not anime, but it feels like the way you would see like an animation at the start of a live action superhero movie in like the early 2000s kind of dealy.
Yeah. Not quite the yeah.
It's not quite Supernatural the anime.
My body just reacted to that in a way it hasn't reacted to very much recently. So but yeah, so we get this. Before we get the animation sequence, we do get Grandpa cutting off some heads and defending the shoreline basically from the Zeds.
Yep. And
then we transition to the animation sequence where apparently Jujutsu holds up a head of a zombie and says, "You will never make it past this point." So. You could headcanon that Kasigu lives.
Yeah, he's doing Jon Snow Last Stand, but as we all know, Jon Snow did survive that scene where he squared up in front of an army of in front of Ramsay's army of horses, like George Costanza in the batting cage.
It's exactly like that.
So, Jon Snow survived that, maybe Kasigu survived this. And Jon Snow is Jon Snow sucks way more ass than Kasigu does.
Absolutely.
Jon Snow sucks so much ass that he's got pink eye. Thanks. Joseph, Charlie, and Joss are out on the water, and Joss helps Charlie have her baby, and the baby is fine. There were like some explored fears earlier that Charlie had where she was like, "Hey, what if this baby is like not immune and it's going to eat me from the inside out?" But that doesn't happen. The baby is fine. Charlie gets to hold it for a brief minute before she turns into Zombo. And then Joseph puts a bullet in her after taking the baby back and crying about it because she was going to turn into a zombie otherwise. And she didn't want to turn into one of them.
Yeah, and Lysol, one of Lysol's last moments of absolute betrayal was after Trailer died. Lysol threatened Joss with a gun, and Joss actually managed to put down Lysol, not her son, but the son that her ex had with another woman, and. But before he dies, he can open up the trunk and he lets a zombie out. Yeah. And that zombie attacks Charlie, and that's how Charlie gets bit.
Yeah. But at least the baby survived.
Yeah, the baby, Joss, and Joseph survive, and the last scene is on is a side angle medium shot of them in the boat. And yeah, that's Blood Quantum.
That's Blood Quantum. On a scale of 0 to 5 Katana Grandpas, how many Katana Grandpas are you going to give this movie?
Oh, I'm going to have to give this one... I'm going to have to go with the whole number because half numbers are for cowards.
Right.
No.
If you've got half a Katana Grandpa, that means you just cut that man in half hamburger style, and you've just got a torso of a Katana Grandpa bleeding out on the ground.
And I could never do that, so I have to give this a 4 out of 5.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's about where I'm at with this movie. I might go a little bit higher. Honestly, I liked this movie a lot. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be like bad or anything going in, but like it certainly gave me more than I had anticipated, and I really enjoyed this movie. I'm thinking maybe like I hate to cut Grandpa in half, but I might have to go up to 4.5 Katana Grandpas. Maybe it's just four Katana Grandpas and then a Katana with no Grandpa.
Yeah, just an extra katana on the ground, just in case.
One of them is dual wielding katanas.
Absolutely. Yeah, this movie is great. It has it's very much like it's a movie with ideas. It's a movie with like things to say, but it doesn't beat you over the head with any of it.
Yeah.
And there's good gore, there's good scenes. I think with this movie that there are a lot of stuff in it, like there's a little bit tropey, and that tropes that we may or may not be tired of as a collective society.
Yeah, I feel like with a lot of horror movie, I feel like the women characters in this kind of get it in the shorts.
Yeah, which is a real shame, because
like,
I think
it's really funny that Lilith bites Lysol's penis off, but by the time that happens, there are like 2 women characters left existing in the movie, and that's like at the 40-minute mark that happens.
Yeah, and Charlie receives more characterization than James or Joss, which is weird because
she's like she's like one of the only white protagonists in this movie.
Yeah, I would hope that I think that like when it comes to filmmaking, this isn't gonna excuse any of the behavior of the movie, but I think because there are so few precedents for all Indigenous productions,
right?
We're as a collective, because really that's what it is when you're Indigenous, you're automatically part of that community. You're part of that minority community. You because we are afforded so few opportunities, we have less opportunities to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so when we make films, maybe they are a little choppy, maybe we do fall into some of the same pitfalls, but we're learning. And I think Jeff Barnaby is a person who, I think, Blood Quantum is a real triumph for Jeff Barnaby, the director of this film and the writer of this film. And for that to happen is really cool, and will hopefully inspire a whole new generation of Indigenous filmmakers. Like, I'm trying to, make films, and I'm trying to write films. And so, I'm glad that that there are people who are breaking the mold and who are out there doing their thing. It doesn't excuse the tropes or anything,
right?
But I'm glad that we're on the right track with movies like this.
I can't wait to see your first feature production to receive the Palme d'Or at Cannes at Cannes. I don't know French.
I think it's Cannes. Yeah.
The Palme d'Or at Cannes in 2026, and I will be there in the front row for it.
And I will make my and if I win the Academy Award, I will make my Oscar smooch Bong Joon-ho's Oscar.
There we go. Let's go. All right. We're gonna. I don't think we have any questions this week, so we're just gonna go straight into recommendations. Do you have something on the on the top of your head to recommend? Because if not, I can go first.
I do. I have 2 things to recommend.
So let's bookend. You start. I'll do mine. Then you go again.
Cool. So my first Lightbringer is going to be the YouTube channel Up Up Down Down. It's a video game channel run by a wrestler.
Yeah, that's the Xavier Woods one.
Yeah, Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed. Yeah. It's a fantastic channel. It's got such good energy. Xavier Woods is a really good person. He's just a really kind person, and that really comes through in his delivery and his vibe. And Up Up Down Down is a fantastic project of his, and like, even if you're not a person who loves every game that's coming out and everything that's new, there is something for everybody. And the wrestlers who make appearances, you get to see, if you're a wrestling fan, you get to see a whole new side of them that you don't see on TV. And if you are not a wrestling fan, you get to see big buff super athletes like yell at screen because they're not doing well in a video game,
Right,
and it's great.
You get to see Xavier Woods, one of one of the most physically fit men on the planet. You get to see that man just getting absolutely obliterated by his friends for his shit KDA in Call of Duty.
Yeah, absolutely. And my favorite series on the channel is called The Party Plays, and it's Xavier Woods, Tyler Breeze, Adam Cole, and Cesaro. They all play Uno together, and the Uno games that they play are so funny. And eventually Cesaro gets a soundboard and he keeps using it to abuse his teammates and or his co-hosts, and yeah, it's just great. It's a thing that they started during the beginning of quarantine, and as it's continued on, it's just gotten funnier and funnier and funnier. There's an episode where they have a round of Uno that lasts so long that they decide to, instead of going for 3 rounds, they go for 1. It's just great. It's just and it's just a really funny series. So yeah, check out Up Up Down Down. It's great, and yeah, I love it very much.
My recommendation this week is going to be a song that I've been listening to a lot. If Last FM is to be believed, I'm going to just pull up my Last FM. The song is called Wakusei Loop by Eve. Not the rapper Eve, the Japanese musician slash Vocaloid guy. I'm not entirely sure how they make their music. But my entire just looking at Last.fm, you can just see my recent tracks are all this song. Like in the last 24 hours, I'm just gonna take a look at my top tracks. In the past 7 days, I've listened to Wakusei Loop 22 times, and in the past 180 days, the song I listened to second most is 6 whole listens less than that. So I listened to that song so much just last night because I can't stop listening to it. It's got like this like really good like chiptune-y sound. Like I love the vocals on it, the guitar, there's like this catchy little like like fucking the very equivalent to the Homestar Runner Strong Bad emails where Strong Bad talks about bands that make lyrics just all nanas, dadas, and doos.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the band, but I forget the name of the fake band in Homestar Universe, but their song "Feed the Children's." Oh, Limousines feed the children's, and their song that goes na na la la la, hey hey doo doo doo.
What's the name of the song again?
Feed the Children's.
No, the song that you're lip bringing.
Wakusei Loop. Wakusei Loop.
I gotta check that out. I have a lot of friends who are into Vocaloid, and so I'm gonna flex on them real big and say I know this song.
I don't know. I if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't know if this is like. I think it might just be Eve's actual voice, unless Vocaloid software has gotten really advanced.
Oh wow!
But I'm not entirely sure. Either way, it's good. It's by Eve, the same guy who did the OP for this for Jujutsu Kaisen, the show that I love,
that you love very much.
Yeah. What's your other recommendation?
So my other recommendation is gonna be actual play stream. It's also YouTube based. It's called NDND, and it stands for it's an all indigenous cast and an indigenous DM playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Fuck yeah!
It's really cool. It's super exciting, and they just got started, and I think they're on their 5th episode. But they do live streams every week on YouTube. You can find them at NDND _official on Twitter. That's all capital NDND. They have so the cast is Saina East, Benny Dwayne Sully, Azzy Dungy, Lucas Brown Eyes, Joey Clift, and Kelly Lynn D'Angelo. It's fantastic. They're all writers and actors and comedians and stuff. So like, it's a really cool project, and I really want to give them a shout out because like, yeah, I think, if we're going to talk about all indigenous productions, we should, look for those trends happening in other mediums.
Fuck yeah.
So if you like D&D, check out ND&D.
All right, yeah, hell yeah. Drop me the link to that in the guest channel that you now have access to, and we'll put that in the show notes.
For sure.
Thank you so much, John, for coming on this extra long episode of Fear Baiting.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to
this jumbo-sized spicy episode.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for having extended the time for so long, but I think I deserve it.
You do.
for having to have sat through all of the crimes that you've committed verbally on this podcast as a fan. I think I deserved a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, I really can't. I can't blame you.
But also, I had a good time, and this podcast is great, and I'm so happy to have finally made it.
Yeah, thank you. Where can people find you online?
So you can find me on Twitter at _flourishcaster. That's capital F, capital C. And you can find me on Instagram at _bedroompunk. That's all undercase. You can also check out my radio show. I do a radio show on local radio CFMU. You can go to cfmu.ca and look for the show called The Sound of Shadows. It airs Thursday nights at midnight, so Friday morning.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, radio it's a really cool thing.
Baby.
Absolutely.
That's how I got my start.
Hell yeah. And
true Sarah heads will remember listening to my Friday night from 10 to 12 p.m. in a college town ass radio show that no one listened to.
Oh man, see, this is the Sarah lore that I needed. Yeah, is that I needed to flesh out how did you get so good Sarah at podcast?
When I was DJing the show Getting It as DJ Emo Body in 2012.
Oh my god, that is so. Oh my god, I love that so much.
I also had a short-lived radio show with a friend called State of the Tunian, and the joke did not progress past that, except for the fact that I called myself Alexander Jamilton and my co-host was Benjamin Cranklin.
I love that so much. Oh. And you and Blair had a podcast before this.
Yeah, we had One Star Cinema, which did not last particularly long.
Yeah.
But
see, these are. Yeah. You know, we fail and we try before we succeed.
Why do we fall, Master Wayne? So that we may podcast again.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for listening to this week's episode of Fear Baiting. We are at Fear Baiting on Twitter and Patreon. Those are the main places we are. We have an email if you need to reach us, but we don't check it very often, so Twitter's the best place to hit us up. $1 a month gets you early access to episodes when we get them out. $5 a month, you get your name right on the podcast and a message right on the show. $10 a month, all that, and you get to choose a movie for us to watch. So thank you very much to Ducky Aisha, Paul Moran, Kit Spindler, and Michael Kaiser. We love you all so much. I can be found on Twitter at SunhatGenya, and I do other podcasts. I do Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die, Leftism podcast made by, for, and of the Terminally Online. John was on the most recent episode, which I was also on. Very impromptu John episode that you just started listening to the episode in the middle of it. We were like, hey, come on and talk about things with us.
Yeah, the one time I was able to catch the recording, I was asked to come on.
Yeah, we were just like, hey, let's fucking do this shit. Now you're an official host.
Yeah, and I didn't want to drop that in my plugs, but yeah, I'm super excited, and
yeah,
I can't wait to be part of the regular crew, and yeah, it's just I'm super excited, and I'm very, very humbled and very thankful.
Yeah, we're super thankful to have you. You can also listen to me on The Wonder Years, which is an Animorphs podcast I do with my friends Blair and Seda, and you can also listen to me on my brand spanking new podcast that I started since you last heard me, which is called Special Grade Snacks, which is a Jujutsu Kaisen watch along podcast I'm doing with my very good friend Kay, who was on the Mars Attacks episode of recent memory. If you happen to hear that one.
A very good episode.
It's a good podcast. It's about a very good show, but most importantly, it is doing the service of keeping me from talking about Jujutsu Kaisen in every other fucking aspect of my life. I am so fucking annoying about it right now, and I fully recognize that. And I'm glad that I'm able to channel that into a Discord server and a podcast all about that.
I haven't watched an anime fully since Dorohedoro was released on Netflix. So I have actually been trying to think of getting back into anime. So
Dorohedoro is really fucking good.
It's so good that like I just didn't want to watch any other anime. I was like, you know what? Dorohedoro was one of those animes that was so hyped that like I was actually kind of mad when I watched it and it was actually that good.
Right? Like I can't believe one single anime like on its own completely converted my how I feel about 3D CGI anime.
Yeah, and I like everyone's got their opinions about 3D animation, but like I'm just kind of like in it for like a good story. And so
a good story, and it doesn't hurt that two large players in that story are two of the biggest women you have ever seen.
Oh my god, I've made a D&D character specifically modeled off Noi.
She's so good.
And so to that point I was thinking about like if an anime is what I want to get into, what should I get into? And so Jujutsu Kaisen really just kind of, well, I think because we run in the same circles, like it was a thing that I kept hearing over and over again. So I was like, you know what? Yeah. So I'm gonna start watching it and start listening to that podcast along with it.
Oh, I hope you enjoy it.
For sure.
Yeah, special grade snacks. I do that with my friend Kay. We've done like 3 episodes so far, and we're doing the 4th one like an hour after we're done recording here.
Hell yeah.
Thank you very much to Matt GameCube and Noise. Excuse me, need more coffee. Thank you very much to Matt GameCube and Noisepace.xyz, the podcast network that this and all those other shows are so luckily hosted on. Great fucking podcast network. Thank you very much to Seda, who did our incredible intro music. You can find them making music under People You Meet Outside of Bars on Bandcamp, or head to gaygothvibes.online for a quick link to that. Thank you very much to Blair, who might have edited this episode, might not have. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to, but either way, he does do most of my editing for this podcast, so shouts out to Blair. And I think that's everything. So until next time, we are back on regular schedule, by the way, so there's going to be an episode next week, an episode the week after, then a week off, and then 3 on, 1 off, etc., so on, because we're back in the swing of things. So until next time, I'm Sarah.
And I'm John.
Fuck Thanksgiving, and remember,
you can put a fucked up guy anywhere.
Good night, everyone.